basement, level vibes with another one, straight up, blackness aye. Who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, I do it for the love, him not do it for no money. Straight up, him attack, educating everybody. Big up my friends and big up my family. Turn on the radio, catch the vibes, it's integrity. Straight up, Benskop stands for unity. One people, one nation, one destiny. Free up the truth in the air, even the blind can see. The deaf can hear, the dumb can talk, the cripple can walk. Boom. Who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, we have to gather wrong, grab a seat and sit down, pay attention. Education, liberation, we have to stand strong. Benskop upon the radio, lively up the program. Everybody call somebody and let them turn and tune and pon the radio and catch the boom song. We boom it up already, we have to boom it up again. Expose and reveal him. Who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit.
So that is totally wrong.
What?
And the parents got to stand up.
Rhonda, I really thank you for taking time out. I'm not going to let you go now. I know you're a very brave person. You're out there in front of GCOM. We're not seeing a lot of people out there, but give us an update on the protest every week in front of GCOM.
Tuesday we had 8 persons. Essentially.
One second, Rhonda. I kind of like, honestly, I like that laugh. I'm going to rephrase, I'm going to ask the question again. And
yeah, my name is Jacinty Caldata Francis Wakenham, and since 1965, I become a voter, and I always place my ex next to the cup. And what they are doing today, I can't take it. So I have no more vote to give to PPP anymore. I'm not going to vote anymore no more. If they have to lose by 1 vote, they're losing it by data.
Oh, Jesus Christ, if cost of living double, I don't know what happened. A pound of sugar is $300 already. Flour, everything gone up. Everything just raising. You gotta get about $40,000 for buy good ration. You gotta get 3 man now. A weekend man, a monthly man, and a fortnight man.
I can't take it no more. I can't take it no more. Can't take it no more.
Watch out, the man. How many come for stress, man? See? And when you look at the road, man, and the road built properly, all those have been vigilant up here with the 7 see. Lord have mercy. Now you be
I just want to bring it to the public attention. Now, this trench around the center ground here used to provide nice, beautiful flowers with a porine leaf. And as you can see here right now, they spray it and they kill the grass. The grass now will sink underneath. So the trench, there is no drainage.
All right. Hey, guess what? It's 6 minutes after 9 o'clock. The mayor of Linden is going to be with us tonight. The mayor of Linden. That's correct. Let me see how many of you guys you'll win yourself. Let me see what we can give you guys out tonight. Probably some wild Edo leaf cook up. The mayor of Linden. Who is the mayor of Linden? Let's go, guys. Who is the mayor of Linden, Guyana? Who? And yes, Linden is still in Guyana. I know based on how the corrupt PPP regime, how they operate, folks might be of the view that Linden is no longer in Guyana. The corrupt PPP regime doesn't treat Linden, doesn't behave, they do not behave as though Linden is part of Guyana. They just don't do that at all. But let me remind you guys that Linden is still in Guyana. The corrupt PPP regime, and we all know that every single thing is corruption for these PPP vagabonds. And so I just want to remind you guys that yes, Linden is in Guyana. Sharma Solomon, the mayor of Linden, you guys are correct. Sharma Solomon is on with us tonight. Joylyn Marshall is saying Chairman Solomon. He's the former chairman. He's now mayor of Linden. And he is going to be talking about the hardships out there in Linden and what the PPP regime is doing to stifle that beautiful town. And I know that it is beautiful. The town of Linden has produced beautiful people, handsome men, pretty women. Well, okay, right? Intelligent men, very smart and intelligent, super intelligent women. Most of them came from the alley, either third alley, second alley, or first alley by Poker Street. Most of them, except Mark Phillips. Mark Phillips was accidentally born in Linden. I say that because he doesn't behave as though Linden did a lot for him. So he is part of this corrupt PPP regime that is punishing the people of Linden, punishing the people of Ituni, punishing the people of Kokwani and those other areas. Shame on them. Shame on them indeed. Take a look at this. Yonette O'Neill is asking, what about the Kersenile man, the Kero man? Kero. I think Guyana is the only place to say Kero, right? Kero, short for kerosene. I didn't realize that. Well, I did at a very, reasonable age. In my 20s, I realized that Kero was actually for kerosene, because I'm not like Irfan and that Ant's Nest guy, that numbskull. But Kero is short for kerosene. I bet Irfan Ali never knew that, right? He now knows. Kero is short for kerosene. Desiree Chapman, how are you doing? How are you, Desiree? Desiree celebrating her birthday today. It's in the morning out there in the UK, right, Desiree? Hope all is well with you, and happy birthday to you, mate. Hope you enjoy, and many more birthdays to come. And for others who are watching this show now, if you're celebrating your birth anniversary, we are with you on this. We are with you. If you're going through whatever trials and tribulations in life, we are with you, because don't we all go through that? Trials and tribulations? Don't we all, guys? Yeah. Anyways, the mayor of Linden, Sharma Solomon, is going to be with us. But take a look at this here. Guyana earned US $7.6 million per day from oil in first half of 2024. That's how much Guyana earns. What is it? 7.6 million US dollars, guys. US dollars. 7.6 million US dollars. What are they doing with the money, guys? Tony Hack. You know, the folks from Belladrum will say Tony Hack. Good night to the folks from Belladrum, Weldad. Do we have Weldad in the house? Hi, guys from Weldad. And so $7.6 million they earned the first quarter of 2024. Exactly what it is. What have they done? Tell me. Can somebody tell me? What have they done with the money? What exactly have they done with the money? They take it, they sport it out, all manner of things. They went to Baroom Bar, they went to Red Dragon, they sport it out, they give it out to the girls on the pole, and this is no disrespect. They give it out to the workers at the cathedral. That is what these folks in the corrupt PPP regime, that is what they do with your money. Bernadette James has just joined us. She celebrated her birthday the other day too. Happy birthday to you, Bernadette. You see, guys, we pay attention to you all. We pay attention to our loyal, well, I don't like to say fans, but our members of the Straight Up family. They fear it out, of course. They pick fear. They wile it out. That is what they do, because that is all they can do. A bunch of vagabonds, kunumunus. Take it in. This is what they do to your money. $7.6 million per day. This is what they do with it.
Are we going to do a body man walk right now? You ready? Bauxite, let me go now. Hear me sing now. Body walk, body walk, body walk, everything. Body walk, truck, body walk.
$7.6 million. That is what they do with your money. You want to know what else they do with your money? That's what they do. They waste it. They do nothing. They complain. They expect, they thought that the coalition government would have done everything to repair the damage done to that country. I think there's a song that's out, there's no need to say you're sorry, the damage already done. Well, come elections time, the PPP should know that there's no need to say sorry. The damage is already done, because the people are going to vote the corrupt PPP regime out of office. But then the big question is, who they're going to put? Well, we're not there as yet. We're not there as yet. All we know is that the PPP is on its way out. Story done. And a lot of these bandits in the PPP regime, lots of them will have to answer. They're going to have to show where they got all the monies from, big houses and all these sort of things. They're going to have to show that. Look at the country, a rich country, Anyways, look, Dennis Atwell, yeah, Dennis is asking, is who birthday today? Well, today happens to be, I think it's Dennis' birthday. He wants us to stop the show and wish him a happy birthday. Dennis is the guy that he carries Nigel Yu's briefcase now, and he comes on this show every single night and holla, better must come, better must come, better must come, better must come. Happy birthday to you, Dennis Atwell. I think it's your birthday today, right? So let's get back to this dirty water. I like how you guys pronounce it, because it's not dirty. You know, the folks in America like to say dirty, especially the Guyanese that come up and they don't say water no more, or water, they say water. Can I get some water? Like, what the heck is water? Right? What is water? Pressure gold? Tell us, precious gold, what is water? Yuli, what is water? I mean, maybe that's how folks like Francine and them pronounce water. Like, give me a break. But look, this, we know we always get a paku. There's always a paku. Now, let's water, right? So And there's Sean Anthony Benny here about water. I think he and Conrad August, they're always conspiring. Water. Water. So look at this water. But before we look at the water, Devin Narain. Narain. Oh gosh, Narain is with us tonight. Narain saying, like, you think these politicians is work for free? Yeah, they thieve the taxpayers' money. Nothing is wrong with working and getting a salary, but do you think Jack Deere could work and get a big house? Not house, the big house he get, Narain? Come on, Devin Narain. Oh, man. Oh, don't do that, man. Don't make me half fall. I know you from Camp Street. I'm glad they let you out now. But what's going on? No, they don't work for free, but they work for the people. Before Jack Deere got into office, Narain, this is where he used to live. That shop front. Malcolm Harry Paul, who they're now persecuting. Malcolm and I went here. Malcolm Harry Paul, if you're watching, good night to you, my friend. And tell Malcolm he's supporting a loser. Trump is going to lose the elections. Malcolm Harry Paul has to stop supporting Trump. But anyways, he has a right, but then sometimes I don't know what's happening, but it's not the oil. But look at this here. That is where that shop front was where Jack Deere used to live. A lot of cockroaches, rats, centipede, you name it, right there. It never used to look like that, but Devin Narain is saying, yeah, the politicians, they got to walk. Yeah, but they're thieving. They're a pack of thieves. A pack of thieves. They go into office not to work for you, the ordinary people or the Guyanese people. They go in there and they thief and they thief and they thief and they thief. They get richer and richer and richer off of y'all money, taxpayers' money. Devin Narain, stop your dotishness, no man. Oh, buddy. Glad to see that you're out from Camp Street. But like Camp Street is not out from you. Camp Street's still there, deep inside of you, boy. Pull Camp Street out. Anyways, what else we can talk about? Oh, sorry. Our operator said that the honorable, well, they don't say honorable in Guyana, honorable mayor. They say his worship, the mayor, Sharma Solomon. But before we get to his worship, the mayor, quickly. Oops. Sorry. Today is Monday. We should not be laughing at all. But I don't know, Mark Light, why you did this, man? Why you did this? You get people know exactly, the pressure you're probably under, but you should not have caved in like that. The people deserve better, right? This regime, $7.6 million US dollars they make per day, and they cannot pay the teachers properly. But yet some deals that were given, better deals under the coalition government, even without billions of dollars of oil revenues. Imagine the coalition government did that under President David Arthur Granger, did that for the teachers. And this corrupt regime got all the money, billions and billions of dollars, and they can't do anything. They can't do it. Anyway, Mark Light, take your hug, bye. Take your hug. But you did the teachers wrong. You did the teachers union wrong. Let's face reality. That's it. I don't know what you're going to do to forgive or to say ask for forgiveness, but you did the teachers wrong. Shame on you, Mark Light. I know we quarantine and we know each other and so forth, but I'm disappointed in you, Mark Light. Very disappointed. I don't know why he did it. People are speculating, but we don't do with that. We don't speculate here. We don't say nobody take any bag. We're not going to say that. But the honorable, his worship, the mayor is in the back there waiting for us. Let me ask you for another 30 seconds. Have you guys seen this lady? Do you guys remember this lady, first of all? Elections coming around. Do you guys remember her? Anybody who remembers her get a mitai. A paka mitai. Do you remember her? Come on quickly, Sean Anthony Ben. I mean, we know you did not too good on common entrance 4 times, but that's okay. You still made it through. Come on, you guys remember her? Where is Pastor? Where is the pastor? She knew what happened. She knew about the statements of polls. She knew what the PPP did because she said a big party. We all know that the big party was the PPP and their fake statements of polls. But the pastor beat out, and the pastor just put a ring. She put a ring on Shaman, and they get married, and they live happily ever after. Probably get a couple of babies. Who knows? Who knows? Pastor got married. Mom put a ring on her finger. At least she respect that ring. I'm sure she still has it. She respect that. There she goes. Just put a ring on her finger. That's it. Where is the SOP? Right, Lloyd Marcus? Where is the SOP lady? I don't know. And hey, quickly, somebody said that the PPP going on the parkway with a truck to Bacchanal to wind up with you guys in Brooklyn. The PPP minister's going to be there. Man, they might as well get a bunch of booze out of this world. It is unacceptable. I'm telling you guys one time, the PPP, they're planning a big, what is it? They have a big truck and all these things in Brooklyn on Labor Day with two PPP ministers and other PPP officials. You gotta be kidding me, Guyanese. Hey, y'all wake up. We'll talk more about that though. But the Honorable Mayor, Sharma Solomon, Star Major, you're right. You're right. You're right. You're right. Fidel, Albert, all of you guys know what's going on. Star Major says 7.6. Yep, 7.6 million US dollars per day. 7.6 million US dollars per day. The Honorable Mayor, his worship, Sharma. I know your middle name is Kusi. Is it Kusi?
Yes.
See, I remember that. How are you doing, Mr. Mayor? How are you, sir? Good night.
Hi, good evening, Mark, and good evening to the Straight Up family. How are you doing? I'm good by God's grace. How are yourself?
We're great, thank you. Quick question, 7.6, Mr. Mayor. $7.6 million per day. Look, it's right there. $7.6 million per day. And they're not giving the townships any money. Rosal, New Amsterdam, Linden. They're starving Linden in terms of paying Linden what Linden is supposed to get. What is your take on $7.6 million per day, Mr. Mayor? And Guyana is the way it is today?
Yeah, I think, it's very unfortunate. These numbers are numbers we are, in our lifetime, never thought we would have witnessed and experienced as a nation in terms of growth and development. I remember the days, even as I still have the generational understanding when we were ranked the poorest country in the world, in the Caribbean. We were behind Haiti. We were at one time competing. And your analysis of 7.6 million is only in one sector, and this is the island gas. So imagine Guyana itself as an entire economic hub at the moment in all of the sectors. And though we see the decline of some of the sectors due to corruption, such as the mining of gold and other minerals, it shows the sort of strength of the economy. The international funding agencies have already said how much we will grow before the year is out in terms of percentage. But those same agencies also have announced, including the US report, that almost 40% of our population live at some point of poverty, and a significant amount in some level of abject poverty. So I think nationally, you can see that sort of reflection of disparity in terms of how wealth and the equitable distribution of resources are given to Guyanese, average Guyanese. But then you come to the towns, as you said. Here it is, again, you have the local structures are given resources by this government at still measuring at a subvention of $18 million a year, and the sort of involvement of government in the development of the town in terms of meaningful consultation in line with constitutional obligations, those are also things absent that would allow the sort of distribution of resources in line with what those policymakers of the tongue are aggregating on behalf of the residents. So not only you see the disparity, but you also see the unwillingness of the government to ensure that it is able to participate in a more holistic national development that involves the township and involves the residents of the town. And Linden, at the moment, is a prime example. You make this point about $7.6 million. And this afternoon, after reading the article, and over the period following the conversation, especially with reference to the teachers and the salary increase conversation, and the general conversation on cost of living, it was important to see how persons in Linden have so far identified with the oil and gas sector. And that is why the question coming out of reading the article was posed as to how connected Guyanese feel to the oil and gas industry. And I can tell you, we've not had too many favorable responses in terms of how people feel in reference to those points made earlier of how government would be distributing those resources.
Thank you so much. It is obvious that they are wasting the money. It is obvious, the signs are there that the possibility is that they are stealing the money. And you mentioned not so long ago, Mr. Mayor, let us welcome those who have just joined us. The Mayor of Linden is with us, Sharma Solomon. We are talking about what is happening in the country, economically and otherwise. So, Mr. Mayor, you mentioned the $18 million subvention that they're not giving to the township of Linden. When you say $18 million, are you talking about 18 million Guyana dollars, sir?
Well, yes, certainly. And let us not forget that 18 million Guyana dollars is what is given to the town council, in Linden's case, to take care of 35,000 residents across 8 constituencies.
Wait a minute, sir. 18 million. It's just about, good, thank you, which is just about 100 or less than 100,000 US dollars. 100,000 US dollars. This corrupt government is giving to the township of Linden with just about 35,000 people. 100,000 US dollars per year. And Guyana, for the first quarter, made $7.6 million per day. US dollars per day. Wayne Caesar is saying here, and thank you, Wayne, that is approximately 38 million US dollars per month. Mr. Sharma, what's happening? Why are the people of Guyana, not just Linden, but the people of Guyana, why are they sitting back and allowing this sort of barefaced corruption and disrespect? Sir?
I think first we have to look fundamentally to how the PPP views local government and views the development of the empowerment of self-determination of people in the grassroots and the working class in general. To think that this is where we saw over the period the PPP position on having local government elections to begin with. The most transformative position we've seen for local government and local governance happened under the coalition, where we had even the expansion. I remember in 1994, as a youngster, I learned about 6 tongues, and it took the coalition, even in one sitting, not only to increase the township, but to have 2 local government elections. And I think that sort of investment into the local government system in itself show that where you see the policy for the township to grow, then the investment of resources would become absolutely necessary. And where we saw the PPP not prepared to expand those townships, we see now their resistance to give resources to what is already established. So, for example, it is the coalition who moved, for example, the subvention of those townships, and to date, it remains the same 4 years on, after even oil and gas has now become a fixture in the economy of Guyana. that 18 million remained even after that. So it
18
demonstrates not
million
only the
Guyana
policy
dollars.
side of the government, but even the investment side into the township by the government.
18 million Guyana dollars per year for the township of Linden, with about 35,000 people. 18 million Guyana dollars, just about 100,000 per year. Imagine, some of you might be watching here. Let me see who's probably making over 100,000 per year. Keon Rose looks like he's just making a little 50,000. Fidel, she making about 60. Cheryl making about 40. Hazel making about 25. Ulrich Grant, he looks like he on pension. Golly God, just about. Okay, good night. You guys know me. But $100,000, $100,000 per year. Somebody or many folks in the audience, they make that. One person makes $100,000 per year. But yet in Guyana, the corrupt PPP regime gives to the people of Linden, 35,000 people of Linden, $100,000 to split up to run the township. Shame and a disgrace to this PPP regime. Shame and disgrace. Mr. Mayor, sorry that I got to express myself like this, because I don't think something like this can happen in Jamaica. And
it's an outrage, but Mark, quite frankly, it's an outrage that should be expected from every Guyanese. And the point is contrasted to what you're making of the earnings from one sector of recent within this country that is there to show $7.6 million. And yet still the distribution of resources remain meager. We're a township of 35,000 persons, are only subsidized by $18 million from the central government.
18 million Guyana dollars, 100,000 US to run. I was made to understand that you guys were struggling to even pay the council workers.
Well,
what's going on with that, sir?
Well, certainly, let me say, the challenge of paying the council is beyond currently what you see. As one of the most important challenges that we have is including paying the NIS for our workers who would have given yeoman service to the council for decades. And this comes down to the council and its ability to either acquire resources and the sort of restrictions that are there for councils to be able to explore new means to acquire resources. So that the council will, even at setting our budget at almost $280 million, will every year go over that budget. Not only because of paying staff and because of what we have to deal with, but also because of our inability to raise resources so that we can able to deal with those expenses. And in such a manner, you have government coming in to subsidize where council is unable to acquire those resources. So it is not of payment and the inability to pay. We have never had, at least in my ability as mayor, not been able to pay our staff. Every week, our staff are paid. And you'll come to probably our issues in the council of not having a clerk that is prepared to work with the council and ensure those policies and directives given to him to ensure that our staff are paid and other directions and decisions made by the council are enforced. So the council doesn't have an issue in terms of ensuring we work to address these matters. But what we have right now would be an obstruction based on a PPP appointed clerk that many times relates to issues that are not in line with the council's directive. So we don't have a problem with paying. Our issue is how do we raise resources to ensure that we can pay and improve those staff that we have. Mark, we still have persons on the council who are, and this is without any hesitation, breaking the law. We are paying below the minimum wage. And we are doing that. We are not paying NIS. And this is the state of the council because of the inability to pull in new resources. We have properties in this town that are paying $2,000 a year rate and taxes. And we are unable to do evaluation so that we can understand commercial properties, new properties, even new housing schemes, where we can bring in rates and be able to improve what we are doing in the council. And this is due to not having legislation and support from central government.
Central government doesn't want to support the people of Linden. We already know why. They're just basically making it appear that they care, but they just don't care. Londoners have been so tolerant.
Mark, let me give you one. Our toll booth makes could make almost $200-300 million a year. We are making just about $30 million. We have implemented strategies to increase how we will improve on that. And those truck drivers aligned to the government. A few months ago, we placed a new initiative that brought in tremendous amount, and persons were calling people in government to report that the toll booth is putting more pressure on them, which made it now the clerk taking the initiative away, and now we don't have the amount of money coming in from the toll booth. So again, even as we put policies and systems in place to increase how we bring in revenue, what you have is the intervention by government, pulling the strings of administrators that creates the sort of conditions for the council not to earn and the people of Linden not to have the resources to develop.
Thanks for bringing that up. I know the bridge, revenue from the bridge, where does it go now? Does it stay there in Linden or it goes to central government?
25% of the earnings from the bridge comes to the council, which averages about $3 million, and the remainder goes to NISIL. Now, our concern with this is that NISIL continues to say, well, they continue to say that a significant amount goes to the repairs of the bridge, which the council may not be able to take care of and may not have the means and technical skills to handle. But we have expressed concerns on 4 levels with that. As of recent, we don't know who the contractor is. We have questioned the quality of works from the contractor. And even as the works went out to tender, we are questioning how that process was done. And at the moment, the quality of works done has so far reduced the flow of traffic because the quality is not to standard. So those are some of the things.
One second, sir. Are you saying that even you, as the mayor of Linden, you do not know who the contractor is for that bridge?
Well, we have 2 members on the board of the bridge committee, and to date, they have asked that we've been given these information and we've been referred to NISIL in Georgetown, even though we have a local bridge committee comprising of the local NISIL rep, 2 councillors and other administrators across the town. To date, we have not been able to have those answers been given to us in terms of, we had a contract in the past, Mr. Paul Jones. Why was he removed when his work to date has shown superior? Even if there was a process, can you explain to us the process so that we can evaluate the quality of works coming out of the new contractor? And to date, we have not been given that.
Shame on the PPP regime, but Londoners, y'all taking a lot of bypass from, by these PPP regime folks.
Well, let me say this, Mark.
Watching,
a few months ago,
has not been behaving properly.
A few months ago, the taxi drivers protested for this. They protested because the works at the bridge have caused significant economic hardship in terms of the amount of time to get over the bridge based on the quality of the works now. So those drivers that protested, we had Minister Edgell came in the town and he addressed them. Some of them were given compensation even for damages done to their vehicle. That is how bad the work of the bridge was, that it damaged the tires of vehicles.
I saw that. When Edgell rolled up in Linden, it was just a publicity stunt. They don't really mean anything because a lot of taxi drivers didn't even get compensation. They didn't even get it.
Well, we know that. The point is they've accepted negligence and the fact that the concerns expressed by the council, they are legitimate enough that they came to address those, but those problems still remain, Mark.
You know what, Mr. Mayor? 41 minutes after 9 o'clock. I notice our good friend right here on 107.1 FM, Cheryl Pancham. Cheryl said, hey, what she makes a lot. But Cheryl, I was just kidding. We all know. I don't know how much you make. And, Cheryl, we have a light moment sometimes. But getting back to this is how the PVP operates 18 million Guyana dollars per year for the township of Linden of 35,000 people. The PVP says, look, take that. That's all you guys deserve. 100,000 US dollars per year to run the town of Linden. The chairman of Gaisuko, I am almost certain, makes close to 100,000 US per month. Almost certain. Then they take billions of dollars and give it to the sugar industry, a dying sugar industry. Billions upon billions upon billions of dollars, Mr. Mayor. And all they can give to the people of Linden, the township of Linden, with 35,000 people, 100,000 US dollars per year. Lindeners, what's going on? Y'all sitting down and accepting that sort of disrespect that I pass? Mr. Mayor, I don't know, I see you. We're still stuck at this 80 million Guyana dollars per year. You guys deserve better.
I think in general Guyanese deserve better, Mark. And you're making the point that we have found oil. That used to be a big thing. When you heard that we found the oil, now persons have lost a sense of belief of what that means for them and their development. I think even across the townships and across the country, persons have lost any sense of hope that will give them the sort of development that they need. To think that 4 years in, that the government through the local government ministry cannot quantify the change in economic circumstances to even consider that a subvention of 18 million at this moment is insufficient based on inflation and based on all the economics adjustments that would have occurred so far.
What was that figure like again under the coalition per year?
I think it was $10 million. As part of the last council that I was leaving in 2015 at RDC, I think it was $10 or $9 million it was.
And that was just the subvention. There were probably
that
other
was just
benefits,
a subvention.
right?
That is not the national budget in terms of what is given to the region, in terms of what is given in terms of budgetary spending in the 4 areas of works, health, education. This is only municipal through local government of the township in terms of those township being just like any ministry, agriculture gives to Gaisuku and those subsidiary agencies. Local government sees the township as subsidiary agencies constitutionally in line to administer local governance in terms of management of people and their resources.
Shame on this PPP regime. The coalition did better even without oil. These Pakus are getting 7.6 million US dollars per day. 38 million
Mark, I
US
keep saying
dollars.
to you, though, this is one industry.
Yeah. We didn't mention the other gold and all these things, and some of them were shipping out other stuff too. But I want to touch on. Recently, I heard one of them guys in the PPP said that they're going to make bauxite, resurrect the industry. They're going to focus on bauxite now. They have ignored the bauxite industry for the 23 years they've been in office. They've ignored the bauxite industry for the 4 years they've been in office. Now, why should people in that region take these people seriously when they say they're going to finally do something about the bauxite industry? Are you taking them seriously, sir?
No, we have seen the track record of the government. We hope that based on current circumstances of the demand, there is an international demand for bauxite, especially the demand for bauxite that now Bauxite is moving towards having metallurgical bauxite. that allows them to open up new markets. I think the government doesn't have a choice but to now place this on their agenda as an economic earnings. But the seriousness in terms of what does that translate to the development of the tongue, I think goes beyond employment, but more structural, as we have not seen government made any arrangements like we have seen in the past in the history that we know the bauxite industry can do. And like we see attention is being paid, for example, to industries such as Gaisuko. We've not seen government, even though they own a 20% stake in the bauxite sector, made any structural arrangements otherwise than ensure that those companies bring employment, and even employment in terms of what the benefits are not substantial. So no, we don't take government serious in terms of the track record so far shown. We hope based on the demand and circumstances, however, and the fact that it is unavoidable that there will be more interest of a more holistic development in the town of Linden. You had structural issues in terms of housing, in terms of benefits that came from the bauxite, in terms of other areas of development that to date government does not speak about, but hope that the company, even though, as I said, government owns a 20% stake, are the exclusive arbiters in determining how they're going to develop the town.
You know, it's a shame. A thought just came to mind where I'm almost certain, Mr. Mayor, that the First Lady's office gets more money annually than the tongue of Linden with 35,000 people. I'm almost certain that the First Lady's office doesn't receive taxpayers' money of $100,000. It's gotta be maybe 100, maybe $200 million per year. Somebody can check that out. But before, as we look at the time, Mr. Mayor, I want us to touch on this here. New Berbice, billions of dollars now, taxpayers' money. Look at the bridge. They are putting this same bridge cost triple time the amount, triple times at the mouth of the Berbice River. There they go again. Instead of putting it somewhere over to Stanley Tongueside that is half the size, cheaper, and will develop the tongue of New Amsterdam. So what they're doing, they're killing businesses in New Amsterdam. They're putting this bridge again right there at Palmyra, and they're giving all their friends and cronies the best land, and they're putting gas stations and hotels, all these things, and ignoring the township of New Amsterdam. But apart from that, they're finding the billions of dollars to put in these bridge and developments and so forth and so on, whilst giving their friends and cronies billions of dollars, but ignoring the people of Linden and people throughout Guyana. What is your take on this latest news? New Berbice Bridge to be modern structure like Demerara Crossing.
Mark, I came up under the good old teaching of national development strategy. I came up where when you needed to see what the country will look like in the next 10 to 15 years, it took into consideration a whole lot of matters before you even got to major infrastructural developments. We knew since in the 70s and the 80s of the road linking Mandela Avenue all the way to the East Coast and up to the East Bank. We saw those things. Those things were all there in the plans. We saw the bridging of different areas. And I can tell you to date, even as the government would have signed a contract for the bridge of Linden Wismar Mackenzie, we have not seen a design for that bridge. So I'm just giving you how planning is done by this government. So here comes a contract that was signed in Linden. Here comes a contractor that is already with works, civil works, building a detour road, and we have not seen the design of what this bridge will look like. I'm coming now to the Berbice Bridge, and I think rightfully the questions must be asked.
Mr. Mayor, And I know questions. First of all, you guys don't know who the contractor is for the current
We
Linden
know the
Bridge. Now you
contractor.
don't know what
It's China Harbor.
Okay,
However, we
I
don't
got you.
know the design of the bridge. We have not
Yeah, the
we have
design
not
you're
seen
talking.
the technical design of the bridge. So we don't know what it is going to look like. A contract has been signed. That is the point we are making. Now, here comes the sort of development that this government is promoting, and that's the point I was making about the national development strategy of not only how we are going to put down infrastructure, but how we are going to consider the development of infrastructure in terms of the national development. So, at what level is this bridge going to be built? Maybe we would want to see more development up the Demerara that allows for bigger vessels to get up into the area. At not knowing the design of the bridge, says to Londoners and even to those who would like to see such development, that they are now left to consider what that development looks like. In the same vein, government is speaking about a massive piece of infrastructure. In the same manner, it approached the first, which was the first Berbice River Bridge, in a manner that the public is unaware of even how they are going to approach the feasibility of this bridge, if they have. How is that going to fit into the development of not only Region 6 and 5, but nationally, and how it's going to impact the lives of those where that bridge is going to be placed? The public, the country, no one knows. But here comes the announcement of such a piece of development. And I think it goes to the sort of garbage bin policy that this government is about, where you throw it in something and what comes out. And I think it's the same with the Linden situation. What comes out based on what we're hoping to see as a design is what might be the perfect fit. That is how it works, without consideration of how it is going to fit into these levels of development, except what comes out will now have to fit into those levels of development.
Such a sad
So
situation.
it's
Shame.
the same with the Barbies. It's the same with the Barbies residents. What now comes out of a bridge, a new bridge only after a decade, is what they now have to consider how that will fit into their development, rather than to see the bridge fitting into their development.
And you know it costs taxpayers hundreds of millions of dollars for that bridge, the Berbice Bridge. Over 10 years ago, just a little over 10 years ago, and it's flapping already. And just imagine that bridge, that Demerara Harbor Bridge, bridge in 1970 something, it opened under Forbes Burnham. It is still there today. And look what Jack gave. They spent the amount of monies they give to their friends and cronies, hundreds of millions of dollars. They took away monies from NIS, almost ran bankrupt. NIS bankrupt. People were deprived of their pensions, all manner of things. Jack Deere did that for the Berbice River Bridge. 10 years later, they want a new bridge. A new bridge. Hundreds of millions of your money, taxpayers' money.
Without
A
so
new
far
bridge.
justified, without no justification.
These folks. Take a look at this, Mr. Sharma. Just completed. Cemetery Road. The road, Cemetery Road, 48 hours after. You see what's going on there? Do you see these kind of roads out in Linden?
Every day, Mark. Every single day. And the most unfortunate and sad thing about that is that I know at the RDC, the regional chairman and councillors, and even at the municipality, our councillors are doing a very good job in aggregating from persons in those communities. They live there. What sort of structure works best? Remember, Linden is not only about the infrastructure of roads, but because of the hilly sand and clay nature, drainage becomes a very critical thing. And those advice given by residents, for example, in the Kansas City area, and by councillors, are many times overlooked. And in them being overlooked, what we have witnessed over the past several months, Mark, especially after the rainy season, are many of the roads being structurally compromised in terms of their structural integrity and the undermining of them because of the absence of drainage. So not only in terms of poor quality, in terms of contractor, but engineering and the absence of the ministry to take into consideration advice given by local government agencies such as the municipality and the RDC and even local residents living in the area. We know of the Kansas City residents who came out and protested and made mention to the minister, who told them that notwithstanding their objection, this is the best approach. And months after, the entire road, and I had it up on my Facebook, the entire road, because of erosion, was compromised. So Cemetery Road and many of the roads in this country, we see almost 60% of the budget going towards infrastructure. The roads in the interior, we see collapsing roads, collapsing bridges. We see deteriorating infrastructure that went down, airstrips that are being dug up by cutlass and spade. And that reflects 65% of the budget based on infrastructural development.
Over $1 trillion budget. They went
Over
back
$1 trillion and 40 million more for
40
exactly
something billion dollars more. Mr. Sharman, and the first quarter, the evidence, it's right here. Guyana earned US $7.6 million per year from oil in first half, not first quarter, first half. Yet, look at this, Mr. Mayor. Philippi, take a look. Kids have to attend school. Take a look at the school. Take a look. But yet Guyana earned $7.6 million US per day. Mr. Sharma, students do not have to be having these sort of experiences. Look at this. This is very shabby. This is bad. This is disgusting. But yet they boast and brag. But look, we're building bridges now. Look at what we're doing. But meanwhile, take a look. Your take, Mr. Mayor, as we prepare to wrap up.
I'd like to, as we wrap up, we're entering, as we leave the month of emancipation, we're entering a very important month for our Indigenous brothers and sisters. So I'd like to, in a very early manner, wish them Indigenous Heritage Month. But at the same time, it's a reflection of the condition of our brothers and sisters in the indigenous communities, that we cannot bridge the divide in terms of what separates equity of the distribution of resources and the efforts in a sincere way be made to ensure that those are done. And I make that point coming out of the Tushar Council and the meetings that were held, and the behavior not only of the president in reflecting on this government's support for our Amerindian brothers and sisters, but even the display of welcoming those voices of dissent that demonstrate that there are legitimate issues within those communities that are worthy of being addressed. And I think you putting that on the screen doesn't take away from the fact that the government, instead of addressing things like those, we saw the minister saying, we're building 11 schools, as if those are addressing this issue. We saw the minister of Legal Affairs and Attorney General saying to persons, why weren't these things addressed before, as if to say that they're okay to have now, especially from one industry making $7.6 million a day. So those are the sort of consideration that our Indigenous brothers and sisters who live the experience are living the reality from the sort of dream and nightmare being shared by the government, especially when we had the National Tushar Council. One could only imagine why they did not want other representatives to get into those conversations, to make any objections or to raise questions.
We can just imagine, indeed. I was going to say, let's take a sip, but how can we take a sip? Look at the condition of the water. For those who are now probably watching, you're now seeing this. That's the water, the quality of water. Billions of dollars. Shame on Sheikh Bach, shame on Irfan Ali, shame on Mark Phillips. as we wrap up tonight's program, Mr. Solomon.
Clean, drinkable water is a
the-
right, Mark. It's a right. Clean, drinkable water is a right. It's a right. So what you're seeing there, Mark, any Guyanese, and I think this is the sort of things the Guyanese must start to be very um, strong in their objection and their pursuit for justice, can take the government and should take the government to court and explore these sort of ridiculous behavior by the government. At no point in time should Guyana, not even with the resources we have, be subjected to not having proper water, proper electricity, proper health care, and the most basic and fundamental services to offer, much less in an economy that is growing by, in the couple of months from now, 1 million barrels of oil per day, more than 7.6 million US dollars a day we'll be having to still have these sort of conditions to give to its citizens.
And that is because you have a corrupt government, a government that's basically visionless. All they're concerned about is thief, 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 thief. In closing, I'd like for you to talk about how the people, the sentiments of the people out there in Linden, or maybe other places you visit, Ituni, Kokwani, Old England, or even outside of the township of Linden or outside of Region 10. In your closing remarks, please talk about the economic situation there. But before, let's take this quick break.
Oh, Jesus Christ. If cost of living double, I don't know what happened. A pound of sugar is $300 already. Flour, everything gone up. Everything just raising. You got to get about $40,000 for buy good ration. You got to get 3 man now. A weekend man, a monthly man, and a fortnight man.
Mr. Mayor, before your closing remarks, since she's speaking about 3 men, but really 3 men, how are those 3 guys out in Linden, Stammerman, who said the PPP, the PPP? You remember the 3 of them? We showed it here. They were praising the PPP and all manner of things. 3 of them.
This is the guy that was singing.
No, he's not from Linden. He's from Well Done or somewhere.
Mark, let me say this. Mark, let me say this. I am someone that respects people's right to choose. So first, that is okay. But one of the things we did in local government last year was we asked a simple question off of a culture that we defined as the looking for it culture, that if they can show us a few things, where in the community can you show me if you found it, there is development? And if not in the community, in your own life, can you show me it? And many times that is where they end up, as a struggle to answer those basic questions. And even as they have a right to choose, I think they question afterwards if indeed it is worth it what they are doing in terms of defending a government that is not empowering them beyond giving them certain trinkets and giving them certain handouts, but don't empower them beyond the point of ensuring that they can uplift their lives better.
Yeah, of course the people have a choice. But we haven't seen or heard from them since. Have they left the country, went to Suriname, they're still around in Linden, right? If they are, give them my regards.
Very much around, very much around, Mark. The thing again, the government is with an obligation to take care of its citizens. So we will hold them to that. Constitutionally, they have to. 2801 says that we have to work with them. The council itself, based on what we have available, will make what we can to the people work, but it is not sufficient. But what is most important, Mark, and of recent what we have recognized, is the spirit of the people of this community. And what I've recognized across this country is more than willing to overcome the many challenges and to see a better tomorrow for this country. We have seen across this town, notwithstanding the challenges, people preparing to come together to do not only self-help, but to bring the awareness of what they need to do to bring change, not only the municipality, but nationally, so that they can improve their lives. And that is the sort of politics that excites me, Mark. Being the mayor, that is the sort of politics that encourages me to ensure that we now have the people that are prepared to work, that are prepared to see where we can hold not only myself, but government and leadership accountable so that we can do much better in the interest of people. This is the richest country in the world, Mark. Again, the international index, they're telling us that. But the same index are also saying to us that we have a large percentage of our population, and you just show, especially in our indigenous communities, that are living in poverty. And I believe you don't have to convince people through politics, but only their own reality. The teachers are facing that reality, are convinced that this government is not working in their best interests.
Mr. Mayor, thank you so much for your time. We invite you to be back with us. We want to continue to expose not just what's happening in Linden, but throughout the country. And let me say kudos to you guys here at the council, the good ones. We know who the troublemakers are. We know who the ones who don't want development and so forth in that very township that belongs to them, that helped to raise them. We know who they are. We're watching them, mind you, but they're not the majority. And majority will always succeed over those destructive minority there in the council. We know who they are. I'm not going to call their names, whether it's Gasper or whoever. I'm not going to call their names, Mr. Mayor. Is there anything else you wish to say before we close off tonight here?
Again, thanks always for having me, Mark. You know, we always have some technical issues once you and I to hook up. I guess the forces are always trying to work against us. But, you know, once invited, I am prepared to come on and share not only on issues, but how we can ensure that we work to get Guyanese citizens that good life. We still know about that good life and that pursuit of that good life, Mark, and we intend to work towards that. To get there, however, I want to encourage the rest of the public to know that we have to work collectively. I know of recent people may have lost some confidence when they see leadership not working in their interests, but against those interests. We've seen it in one of the major institutional play of recent. But I want to encourage public and citizens to don't lose confidence, don't lose hope in terms of not only representation, but your own ability to work towards ensuring we can get things done. That is the sort of leadership I am well aware of, that I like to promote, and that I welcome, and a leadership that gets people involved. It is the only way. We are all facing $7.6 million per day in one industry. And we are all facing the reality of how connected we are, or in fact, disconnected we are from such a reality of what is Guyana today.
Well said, Mr. Mayor. Well said. I thank you so much and appreciate your time. We're still waiting for you to start your own program called Chatting with the Mayor. We'll talk about that. We've had a good chat this evening.
Soon.
Hope to see you back very soon too. But thank you so much, sir. Appreciate it. And keep up the good work. Thank you. Yep, sorry about that. The mayor of Linden, Sharma Solomon, there with us. Yeah, you guys heard 100,000 US dollars per year, which is 18 million Guyana dollars for the township of Linden, for about 35,000 people. Yet I'm sure the quote-unquote First Lady's office makes way more than 18 million Guyana dollars per year. Her office does not receive a meager amount of, 18 million Guyana dollars. She probably got, hundreds upon hundreds of millions of dollars. Kaisuko gets billions upon billions of dollars. But those people in Linden, right, Mohammed, Rafiq, and all of those Lindeners, Otto Martin, if he's watching, well, Otto Martin moved out of Linden now, but 18 million Guyana dollars per year. Shame. I don't know. But I'll be back tomorrow. Same place, same time, right here on 107.1 FM. If you're celebrating your birthday, like Desiree Chapman and Bernadette James, who celebrated hers recently, happy birthday to all of you. and Nigel Hughes Baku, Dennis Atwell. Happy birthday to you, Dennis. You guys have a good night. I'll be back tomorrow, same place, same time. It's just sickening. Sometimes I don't know. I'm out of Guyana. Maybe God knows why. Shame on that corrupt PPP regime. All right, see you guys tomorrow. So long.
Yeah, my name is Jacinty Caldata Francis C. Vietnam, and since 1965 I become a voter, and I always place my X next to the cup. And what they are doing today, I can't take it. So I have no more vote to give to PPP anymore. I'm not going to vote anymore no more. If they have to lose by one vote, they're losing it by data.